Just when I thought I couldn't find my way out, yeah, I searched the God in me to find my way out. I know it can seem way out, but the Creator flows to and through me from way out. I'm talking way out, yeah, yeah, yeah. See, if you believe in the God in you, it's a better place. Creating the force and the power to live a better day. Just know that love and joy and peace is one in all of the same space. That you were chosen just like God. That's right. Only you can make the change. Shine your head at you. Shine so bright from darkness to light. Hey, hey, hey. From darkness to light. Yeah. And you'll find your way out. Yeah, yeah. Oh, it won't seem way out. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The power of God will flow through you from way out.
Welcome. This is Optimizing Energy, and I am doing this show because I really want to really go into this whole thing with this correspondence shooting and what happened. I think it's really interesting, some of the things that are like being revealed as time goes on, and I just wanted to just like bring people's attention. If you haven't been seeing some of the conversations that are being had, I want to show you guys what's being said. Okay, so without further ado, let me go into Mr. Let Go, and he is talking about some of the red flags about like the information that we're being told about. So let's go into this. Let's go.
In the main body of the ballroom, there were more than 2,000 people here. There was the crack of gunfire around 10 minutes into dinner. Crack of gunfire.
The crack
Several
of
shots were
gunfire.
heard. And there was the sound of shot. There were shrieks, the sound of panic, and then the sound of human movement as...
Uh-oh, hold on. We just got something.
This just in, a new way of healing is sweeping the country, and it's a card game called Like Mother, Like Daughter. This game is powerful. My favorite question was, if you could parent me all over again.
Shouts out to his card game. Go check his card game out. It's like for mothers to talk to their daughters. So this is a beautiful thing that he's doing for kids. But let me go into what they're talking about.
Blame black people in Iran.
2,000 people and more dive for cover, got underneath the tables. The security services, I saw them sprinting in from that central rear door, running towards the stage at full speed.
The only problem I have about this is that everybody just casually talking. If I was in a place that just got damn near like shot up, I would not be sitting around just talking. I'd be like, I'm out of here. This is weird. Sometimes the most like basic things can kind of show you when people do not look afraid here. They don't look like a group of people that just got like some kind of a mass shooting event to happen. No one stays around and begins to discuss with each other and having all this conversation about anything. Let's go.
To eliminate any threat and, of course, to preserve the safety of the president and everybody else inside this building. This is the suspect's LinkedIn picture. And this is the police outside his California home as investigations continue. In Washington, the correspondents' dinner is a glittering affair. Last night, it was the showpiece most shocking. Not least for a president previously the target of 2 assassination attempts.
Thank you very much.
Ciao. I don't know. Something don't seem right about this. People seem way too casual. If I was in a situation where there was a shooter and that person ran into a ballroom that I was in, I would not be standing around talking to anybody about nothing. I'd be out of that bitch, And maybe that's just like me being black. Black people, we will run We get the hell up out of there. There's no like conversation. It's I will talk to you later. Call me on the phone. Talk to you. There's no like standing around because you never know who. If one got through, how you know somebody else ain't gonna get through. So there's a lot going on with this whole situation that makes me like question like what is really happening here.
Washington's big night out was a big escape.
This is sad, man. All right, check this out. So I don't know this this is real or fake. So y'all let me know in the chat. Is this right here real or fake? Did this actually happen? Let me back it up just a little bit. Y'all let me know. Because I'm like,
it's so much AI, questionable things, images, that everybody is looking at this whole thing like, what really happened? Is this a real thing? This is the part that I'm like wondering and questioning. Like what like anytime like everybody's looking at this like what? Like there were pictures of people, gunshots blaring, everybody ducking down. Some people were actually still eating, you know? Like what's going on? Like what's happening here? You know, I don't know what's happening. Like, so I'm not trying to say it didn't happen. I'm just trying to like just ask the question, like, why were there certain people eating and not ducking down? Like, duck down, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are we doing? Like, why are we eating and still enjoying our meal when there's a whole emergency happening? Why, after the whole thing happened, everybody's still sitting around talking to each other? Why didn't everybody evacuate the entire premises? There's so many questions I have. Let's go.
this part right here, what y'all about to see, has to be fake, right?
Police for a president previously the target of 2 assassination attempts.
So what I'm about to show you, let me know if this is real or fake. What I'm about to show you now. Because I'm like, this has to be fake, right? Right here. Put it on the big screen.
Dear President Trump, this building is the Washington Hilton Hotel. You'll soon be arriving here as the guest of honor at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. But the fact is, you, the President of the United States, are right now engaged in a massive cover-up of Jeffrey Epstein's crimes. To date, your administration has only released about half the Epstein files. Of those that have been published, hundreds of pages have been blacked out entirely, and the names of many powerful men have been redacted.
Did they actually do this? Somebody said, Sabby Sabs covered this. It's real. So they literally shined all this on the side of the same building that everybody was in?
What the hell is going on? So prior to the event, they shined an image. Now, I don't know if they had the audio, but they showed this image on the side of the building. Like, did nobody like look at this and be like, okay, what's happening here? Like there's a whole like projection going on. There probably was a website where the audio was being, but no one, like, I mean, we're talking about Secret Service, we're talking about like CIA, FBI. Whenever you have an event like this, you have like pretty much all law enforcement that should be involved in the protection of the people that's in this location, especially when the president is there. Why could a thing be projected on the side of the building and that's not a red flag? Let's go.
Yo, the protesters were going crazy then.
Including, in some cases, your own name.
They didn't have Secret Service on the outside of the building scanning the perimeter. They didn't tell the people not to do this. This was real.
Where you have been named, the files are damning. In one email from 2011, Epstein wrote to his accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell, expressing surprise that you hadn't yet been publicly accused of complicity in his activities. Epstein emailed Maxwell saying, I want you to realize that the dog that hasn't barked is Trump. Maxwell replied saying, I've been thinking about that. In an email from Epstein to author Michael Wolff, Epstein said of you, President Trump, quote, Of course he knew about the girls. You recently admitted on Air Force One.
Now, this was on the side of the building that they actually had the correspondence dinner on. And that's big as hell. I don't know who didn't see this. Now, if they didn't, maybe it didn't happen. Maybe it didn't happen. Maybe it did. I don't know. But what the fuck is this? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I'm just showing you some of the things that people are saying. Let's go.
That you were aware young women were being recruited from Mar-a-Lago by Epstein. When you were asked whether one of them was the well-known Epstein victim, Virginia Roberts Giuffre, you replied,
I think she worked at the spa. I think so. I think that was one of the people. Yeah.
Some of y'all are saying this is fake. Some of y'all are saying it's real. I don't know. I'm just playing it because I don't know. I'm just playing it.
He's
There was some other stuff that like definitely was fake that came earlier. I don't know what part of things are fake, what part of things are real. But I will say this, is that it's interesting. So let me just fast forward past this because it might not be real. Who knows? But let's go.
You knew. Release the files, end the cover-up, now.
That's crazy.
Now, maybe it was being displayed, it didn't have the audio to it. And maybe they didn't have control over who was able to project onto that building. Who knows? They didn't know where the projection was coming from. Whatever, that could be a possibility. But it's interesting to me that there was audio, there was a whole thing, a website probably this was broadcasted on. Why did not this be? What's going on here? Let's go.
Apparently, they had the ability to do that, and I guess it's real.
Healthy Digest, my friends. Okay, so in under a minute and a half, I'm going to break down the White House correspondent dinner false flag shooting last night, and none of this is making sense. So you have 31-year-old Cole Allen, who was an intern at NASA in 2014. He was a master's student of engineering. He was interning at the NASA headquarters where all those missing scientists have now been deemed missing. And just so happens that last night before the dinner even started, you had the press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, saying that Trump is going to be typical Trump tonight, and there's going to be some shots fired. 3 days ago, you had a CNN report published saying how assassinations could be staged. Just so you see where I'm coming from, Cole Allen is pictured here wearing a Israeli Defense Forces t-shirt, registered Democrat. And this is a perfect twist for the whole plot to be like, oh, look, you got a radical Democrat leftist who's, just trying to take out a Republican president. Now, none of this is making sense. If you look very closely, you have the director of the FBI, Kash Patel, just sitting nonchalant, casually. If you're the director of the FBI and it was just a shooting inside the vicinity of where the president is, would you be sitting the way he was, or wouldn't you be reacting and calling the shots?
Right.
Question everything, guys. Healthy Digest.
I just want to go find.
I'm so sick of her. Like, why did somebody have to film her? Like, who gives a shit about what?
Why were they filming anything? It's an active shooter. Why were they filming anything? It should have been like cameras running. Like, why would they be able to film people walking out calmly? They're stationary with their cameras stationary. You already know those cameras are big. The ones that they like film with the news are huge cameras. That means they had time to prop it up, sit it up, this, that, the other, and film people walking out in emotions or whatever. What's going on here? Whatever the heck it was, whatever. But why is the camera propped up at the door waiting for people to leave out? Like, what is going on here? Are y'all paying attention to this? Like, is anybody else not thinking in their mind that this is not, that doesn't make any sense?
Erica Kirk is doing and what she's crying about. Like, I'm so sick of her. She had to get some attention from this shit. Like, why? And you see the cameraman was right there like waiting on her. All right, action, start crying like she always does. This damn woman cries every damn day. She's crazy. I can't stand this damn woman.
Casually, if you're the director of the FBI and it was just a shooting inside the vicinity where the president is, would you be sitting the way he was, or wouldn't you be?
Honey, there was a dude actually eating. They showed one dude didn't even duck or nothing. With just I don't know whether he had a death wish or what, but honey, he was up there like I'm fixing to finish my damn food. He just finished eating whatever. Like I don't care. What is this? What's happening here? You know, this is like an exercise on okay, what happens when, or people were just so unbothered, or they just want to die anyway. Like what? Why would this be? Oh, okay, no big deal. Like why wasn't people just running and cascading out that sucker?
Reacting and calling the shots. Question everything, guys. Healthy Digest.
I just want to go find nobody cares. I'm saying nobody cares as I play it a second time.
I want to just quickly tell you.
As I play it a second time. So listen, I'm not going to go through this whole thing, what he says, but I'm going to go into some other things I saw that I thought was really interesting. It's some veterans that actually kind of went through the whole thing, and they had their own opinions about what would happen, what is the reality of a situation like this, right? So let's get into that. Let's get into it.
He had knives. He was armed to the teeth. He went downstairs from his room all the way to the ballroom where the entire succession for the office of presidency was located. The president, the vice president, Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, the president's cabinet was in attendance. You could argue that this should be the most secure ballroom in America Saturday night. We are learning it was not. Instead, it was the site of another gunman, another shooting, another attempted assassination. Some people argue it's another staged shooting.
I will tell you, this speech tonight will be classic Donald J. Trump. It'll be funny. It'll be entertaining. There will be some shots fired tonight in the room. So everyone should tune in. It's going to be really great.
Another psychological operation on the American people. Another false flag operation, they say. And some people say it's a fed up citizen who just finally had enough. Some people say it was just sloppy security and somebody got by them. But which is it? And that's what I want to get to the bottom of right now, right here. I spent 13 years in military intelligence, conducted hundreds of interrogations, and spent years doing source operations in both Iraq, Afghanistan, as well as other countries across the globe. I'm going to have several other military veterans join me as well on the show, an ex-Army Ranger, an ex-Army sniper, a former Marine, and others. We are going to discuss and debate the merits, the details, and the facts of the shooting at the White House Correspondents' Dinner.
Man, listen. There must be something to it that people are at this level. They're having this conversation, People don't believe it. That's just the Democrats. It's just the Democrats doing it. It's all y'all right, left-wing Democrats. Let's go.
However, he has no military training. His family did say he attended the gun range regularly. He bought his handgun in 2023 and the shotgun that he had during the incident in August of last year, August 2025. But aside from going to the gun range, he has no tactical training or experience. Yet he was able to get all his weapons into the hotel where the entire leadership of the executive branch would be the next day. Then successfully get past all the security, all the way to the front door of the very ballroom where they were. And the hotel, by the way, the hotel is the same exact hotel an assassination attempt was made on Ronald Reagan's life in 1981 by John Hinckley Jr. That's why this particular Hilton is nicknamed the Hinckley Hilton. I mean, that kind of stuff just feeds into the idea that this is a psyop. Also,
and hold on, let me just also say this. When you look at the video, honey, The way they had him running, you would have thought he was the Flash. I mean, I don't know if y'all see the video of him running past those people. Honey, he should have been in the Olympics. He needed no bunk being an assassin. Just join the Olympics, honey, because he did like 100 meters in like 2 seconds flat, bro. You couldn't even see his actual form as he dusted past everybody. Like, and then he happened to actually like hit a few people. Something don't seem legitimate or right. Let's go.
So this is the first time that Trump has ever attended the White House Correspondents' Dinner as president in either one of his terms. We know Trump doesn't like to get made fun of. He's very thin-skinned. And so when you go to the White House Correspondents' Dinner, you're going to get made fun of. All presidents historically have been made fun of at the White House Correspondents' Dinner by comedians in attendance. That's kind of what happens. So for Trump to voluntarily attend with his thin skin was already wild, already a red flag. Then this happens. Before anybody can actually make fun of him, a gunman storms the ballroom. Also, it was reported on Sunday that the administration provided a, quote, lower level of security for the White House Correspondents' Dinner than it has for other similar gatherings of high-ranking officials in the past. Again,
why was that on Twitter? Why was something like that on Twitter? I mean, let's pay attention.
You go to the White House Correspondents' Dinner, you're going to get made fun of. All presidents historically have been made fun of at the White House Correspondents' Dinner by comedians in attendance. That's kind of what happens. So for Trump to voluntarily attend with his thin skin was already wild, already a red flag. Then this happens. Before anybody can actually make fun of him, a gunman storms the ballroom. Also, it was reported on Sunday that the administration provided a, quote, lower level of security.
The Trump administration provided a lower level of security for the White House Correspondents' Dinner than it has for other similar gatherings. Why? Why would they have a lower security? We're in war with Iran. This is the worst. What are we doing? Like why would that be why would we have a lower security? I'm not saying anything. I'm gonna say this. Just piece it together, guys. Just piece it all together.
Security for the White House Correspondents' Dinner than it has for other similar gatherings of high-ranking officials in the past. Again, this just feeds into the conspiracy idea. But I digress. Back to the suspect. Zero military training, zero any other training, just a shotgun, a handgun, some knives, a manifesto, a Naruto run past security, and a dream. How? How did this sloppy of a tactical operation, and I use the word lightly, get
past Secret Service, FBI, CIA, police? What is going on? Now, they said he had like some military training. He was a Green Beret. But he has zero military training, so he was able to just bogart his way through and actually hit somebody. Shoot them, and then he didn't get shot. Like, what? The last picture I saw was him butt naked or whatever on the ground. I don't know whether they ripped his clothes off. Like, how did he end up like with his chest out on the ground? It's just chest, looking like his arm is wrapping around like a snake, like arm. I don't know. Maybe that might have been an AI because I showed the picture when it was happening. I actually covered it. I said, "Man, what's up with his arm? What is happening here? Is his shoulder dislocated?" Because it just didn't look right. And then who takes a picture at that angle? And I think the people said that might be the AI because there's no way who puts their camera onto the ground and shoots upward, Anyways, let's go.
As far as it got, either he is secretly Jason fucking Bourne or something else is afoot. Was he lucky? Was security just poorly managed? or was it staged? These are questions I want to tackle right now. To help me start this deep dive into the facts, let me introduce Greg Stoker, a former Army Ranger with 4 combat deployments to Afghanistan, as well as a current congressional candidate running in House District 31 in Texas. Greg, thank you for joining. Very intrigued to hear your take on things. I want to kick things off with the questions I just posed. The internet's brimming with people calling this a false flag operation or a psyop on the American people, saying it was staged by the administration. We heard these same things following the unsuccessful assassination attempt in Butler. Also, people have completely forgotten about the man with the long barrel rifle who was allegedly trying to shoot Trump at his own golf course. So 3 assassination attempts, Greg, all unsuccessful, all very odd. 2 of them, nobody even talks about anymore. Is this a trend of staged attacks, or are these legitimate attacks on Trump?
Okay, first of all, that's a kind of an expansive question. Let's start with things that are also ancillarily connected to all this. Charlie Kirk's assassination and that bizarre investigation into his death, absolutely crazy. There's also been other potentially staged things like, remember Big Balls, who was the young kid?
Yes.
In charge of Doge. Apparently he was attacked by a bunch of hoodlums in the street, and there was never any substantiating evidence for that. The bottom line, though, is that there is absolutely no trust in the institutions of this administration. Nobody trusts the I mean, if you exist in certain activist spaces, nobody trusts the FBI, but it's especially bad right now. Again, the takeaway is you just cannot trust what's happening. So was it staged? Was it a lone wolf? Was it like coordinated? The performative effect is the same. You know, we exist in this information environment that's been manufactured, and it's almost like post-truth. That's where we are. So I think even if a lot of people who might be skeptical of whether or not it was a false flag because of the information environment, because of the lies, consistently lack of transparency and absolute clownishness of this administration, people are just going to opt to choose that it was an inside job or a false flag.
I think you're bringing a good point there, not to interrupt, but I think it's a valid point to say that a side effect, a secondary effect of just absolutely always lying to the American people, that we're going to assume that everything that happens is a lie. Because looking at the shooter, the suspect, Cole Allen here, and how he rushed through the lobby, Call of Duty style, with a shotgun slung across his chest, it really gives you this feeling that this is almost, I don't know, cartoonish.
It's cartoonish too, because let's talk about it from a law enforcement or military perspective. We were just up in Minneapolis where Alex Preddy got shot for no reason. Also, cops notoriously have wrongful deaths during their police action. But this guy charging in with a gun to the White House Correspondents' Dinner, FBI and Secret Service tactical squads all on the ground. He's apparently lets off some shots. No, and he's not shot. They somehow subdue him. When have you ever seen police de-escalate like that?
Right. I agree with that completely. When I first heard the audio, and I have a guest coming on a little bit later in the show here, who's a former Army sniper, who I want him to kind of, give me his thoughts on this audio. But you hear boom, 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 which sounds like a gunfire exchange. And then I hear that the suspect has no injuries. I had the first red flag that you just brought up, which is, wait a minute, you got to a firefight with the police and didn't get shot? People don't even have weapons around the police and get shot. So that's amazing. And you bring up the law enforcement reaction. That's a good opportunity, a good segue for me I want to play this video for you briefly. This is the actual Secret Service response to the shooter. And to me, this is an absolutely asininely slow response. Would love to get your take on it. Let's run this real quick.
Well, it's a really slow response. When you brought up Butler earlier, and when I was working at Mint Press News, I just made the argument and tried to describe the absolute nightmare of interagency cooperation in security, in law enforcement, and military stuff. And I could make the argument that the Butler shooter was just through they missed him just through general incompetence and the confusion that comes from working within different agencies and stuff. But this I don't know. The response was incredibly slow. It was also disjointed. You had some Secret Service members get Vance out, and then where were the other ones? They're all on the same comms net. So where were they positioned? Why did it take them so long to get out? Like all of these guys are on the same comms frequency, and there's just like not really a lot of communication. Again, this could be incompetence, but it's just all of this in context, in the larger picture, is just so deeply weird.
I want to show people what you're talking about here. Greg is saying they got Vance out first. Right here at the 10-second mark, you can see, if you pay attention to the table right there, you see them, boom, J.D. Vance is being escorted off by Secret Service. And by 14 seconds, he's out of the room. So between 10 to 14 seconds, they get him out of there. To the left side, you see the president with the same Secret Service still sitting there for another 20 seconds. And so I think it's a valid point you bring up, which is, you can't claim it's interagency communications. You can't claim it's a different protocol. It took 30 seconds to get him out of there. And of course, he fell on the way out. And we saw an interview yesterday with, I believe it was NBC, in which he said he didn't fall. They asked him to go to the ground. Again, I think this is more lies. And now, Greg, they're trying to tie it to the ballroom.
Yes. That what in an insane way to justify the construction of a neo Versailles palace. Now like they sent up the bat signal. All of their paid propagandists like End Wokeness and Gunther Eagleman or whatever those like right-wing Twitter accounts are that are absolutely insufferable, saying, "Oh no, we actually now need a ballroom," which was deeply, deeply unpopular, even amongst conservatives. But now they need a secure location inside the White House, so one of these shooting events can never, ever happen again. As if, we haven't had White House Correspondents' Dinner off-site since, I don't know what, the 50? I forget when the institution.
I don't know either. I know, but it's been a long time.
Yeah, and we see this. And another reason the conspiracy theories are rife, every time there's a dip in approval ratings or something's deeply unpopular, they need to justify it. Something like this happens. These manufactured mass hysterias around like immigrants and lone gunmen and Muslims. I'm running in Texas where Islamophobia is consistently used as a talking point to further militarize the police and the national security and surveillance state. So every time something like this happens, they use it as a rhetorical device to be like, see, we need more weapons and force, and we need more unrestricted access to people's private data. And for national security, Palantir must come in, work with the government, and establish all of these massive law enforcement integrated and no longer siloed databases. So it's just more of the same stuff, really. This is going to be used not just to justify the ballroom, but also used to further crack down on radical thought crime. If you saw Chip Roy's legislation, he put in the Mamdani Act, which is targets Islamists and socialists. This is all part of the larger game.
Nothing vague at all.
Yeah, nothing vague. So it's going to be used to be like, oh, you're anti-Trump? Okay, we're going to further target you. So this is all building on itself, incident after incident after incident.
I've seen a lot of people say that this was a false flag event at the White House Correspondents' Dinner that Trump's going to use to justify building his $200 million ballroom. And I've heard other people saying that even if it was a false flag event, there were a lot of people in that room that didn't know what were going on and they were scared for their lives. And I guess the only thing that I can say is I don't care. You see, I'm having a really hard time mustering up any amount of sympathy for 95% of the people that were sitting in that room that were scared that they might not go home, because those are the same fucking people that will turn blue in the face and froth at the mouth defending the unregulated ease of access of firearms for every single person in this country. And then when a mass casualty or active shooter event happens, they will immediately jump to, we need better mental health services to address the problems. It's not the gun, it's the person. And we need to be taking care of the person better with mental health services. And those same fucking people will spend all of their time cutting funding to programs that provide the mental health services that those fucking people need. So I guess, again, I'm having a really fucking hard time mustering up any amount of sympathy for 95% of the people in that room. Because if our school children can walk into a school every single day and deal with the fear and anxiety that maybe today somebody's going to come into their school and shoot up their classroom, and they can still go to school and take their tests and do their PE and sing in their chorus classrooms and play in their band concerts. If they can still fucking do that every single day because they are desensitized to the fear that this country shoves on them every single day, then the same fucking thing should be done for the people in that fucking room. I have no sympathy for the fear that you felt that day, especially when some of you cheered and applauded the man who said that dead school children are the price that we have to pay to continue to enjoy the liberties under the Second fucking Amendment.
You hear that? Listen, that's the actual audio from the shooting at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. I counted 5 shots. Listen again. If you listen, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Listen. I heard 1 gunshot and then 4 successive right after that. I'm also hearing 2 different weapon systems. Now, when I say weapon systems, what I mean is 2 different types of weapons at a minimum, 2 different types of guns at a minimum. Now, even though we don't have any visuals, this tells a story. And from that story, we can kind of start piecing together what probably actually happened. So to help us understand that story, I want to bring somebody on who understands not only shooting guns and how guns sound, but has done it before. I'm joined here by Corey. Corey is a former Army sniper deployed twice to Iraq, once as a shooter on a team and then once as a sniper employment officer. Corey, thanks for being.
And hold on, can I also say this? That in Las Vegas, right? Do you know that when they had that Las Vegas shooting, everybody felt like the sound was coming out of the speakers? Not to say that that Las Vegas shooting never happened, but I'm saying everybody, no one reacted to it because it sounded like it was coming out of the speakers. So I'm going to say this. I don't know. Let's go.
In here, when I listen to the audio I just played, I hear a minimum of 5 shots, a minimum of 2 different weapon systems. What's your analysis of what we're listening to?
Yeah, so what's strange is the audio doesn't really line up with the CCTV footage, because in the audio, I hear 2 distinct firearms being fired. And each audio is different. I've listened to so much audio so many times trying to piece this together. And in one audio, I hear 1 loud shot, and then I hear 4 or 5 quieter shots. And that was an hour after it happened. And then now I'm hearing audio of like 6 shots, all sounding like it's from the same firearm. If you watch the CCTV footage, it looks like there is 1 officer. This motherfucker bolts around the corner, dude. He turns on turbo speed. Nobody's paying attention. There is officers fixing a metal detector on the ground. Just the lack of security is fucking insane.
And then hold on. How are you fixing a metal detector and running? And this person can run past you so fast, like the flash.
And then 1 officer pulls his firearm and then he shoots into 3 officers. It looks like he might have hit somebody. It's so grainy, it's hard to tell. This is just what it looks like. And then he's shooting fucking Neo from the Matrix, a moving target sprinting, and he's trying to shoot him, and he just unloads. He just unloads, bro. Pop, 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 pop.
So real quick, I just watched this footage. If it's the same footage that I think you're talking about, I just watched this footage with my previous guest, Greg Stoker, former Army Ranger. Let me pull it up and see if this is exactly what you're talking about. This is the one you're talking about, right?
Yeah, this
we see him run by, see the officer draw his firearm, pam, 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 pam. Other officer joins him. And so what you're saying is your analysis of that right there is they were what appeared to be fixing a metal detector. And then
that's what it looks like. Yeah.
And then as he runs by, officer right here pulls his firearm. And so you're suggesting the successive shots could have came from that officer right there?
No, actually, so I've watched this frame by frame. And if you back up, if you back up, and you could see him keep going, right there. So he turns around the corner and then he starts to run. And watch that officer in the lower left he looks like he has a hat on. He pulls his firearm right there.
Okay, I see it right there.
Yeah. And he hasn't shot yet. Keep going just a little bit more, and it looks like right there he shoots.
At almost point blank range too.
Yeah, almost at point blank range. But I think that round misses Cole, and it strikes the officer. There's 3 officers standing against the wall behind him.
Okay.
And I think it possibly, I don't know, that it's so hard to see, but it looks like it strikes the middle officer.
That's a good analysis, Corey, because I got to be honest. I've seen, or I read the results from Cole Allen, the shooting suspect's trip to the hospital, and he has no injuries. So we can safely.
He has no injuries. And he ran past a person that pulled like a Secret Service. Now these people should be, they should be like, quick draw and be able to hit their target. These like they're fumbling. They're like they're fumbling to pull out their weapons. Like, what is going on here? Did they get like the people that just got out of class and put them at the front of the thing? Like, what's happening here? This guy's running past him. He's pulling on his gun, fumbling, shoots another officer. That's what I believe happened. I don't believe that this guy shot him because he's too busy running so fast. There's no way that you'd be running 100 miles an hour and then be shooting everybody with accuracy to that point. I'm sorry. He's running full sprint through there like a football player with a rifle in his hand, and he's not a trained military person, so there's no way that he would be able to like train and like hit somebody like that. I'm sorry. Unless they find out that he was a part of some other like training that we don't know of, I don't get it.
Assume this round here didn't hit him, but as you point out, there's 3 officers directly behind the suspect, and this officer's firing into them. Now listen, you and I are we're veterans. You're a sniper, but even the most basic fundamental weapons training would teach you to never fire into your own people, right? So this is almost comical that this officer shoots into 3 other officers, but it doesn't.
It's Looney Tunes. Like this is a Looney Tunes episode, dude.
Yeah, because he comes flying by right here,
and he keeps shooting. You can actually see the discharge from.
Oh, you can see the officer go down right here.
Yeah, and then he tries. Keep going, and then you'll see him try to stand up. And then he'll fall down. He stands up.
Yep, right there it was. He tries to get. So that's probably the officer that was injured. Interesting analysis, Corey. I actually had not noticed that before. So that would actually probably account for the 2 different weapon systems that we're hearing, and that the one officer fired and the other officers joined in firing, which would suggest the suspect never even fired a round.
So it's interesting. The official report says that one officer was struck with a shotgun blast to the chest. So
if your analysis is accurate, I got to be honest, Corey, I'm not just saying this because you're a fellow veteran. I agree with what I'm seeing and what you're saying. What you're saying and what I'm seeing line up. And remember, the state's going to tell you to ignore what you see with your eyes and hear with your ears. But what you're saying and what I'm seeing lines up. This officer clearly shot directly at the suspect. The officer behind them then went down, got back up and went back down, indicating that they were already shot. And the suspect, like you said, was running by Looney Tunes style. So I heard somebody earlier refer to it as a Naruto run. I thought that was a great description. And so there's no chance the suspect shot him with a shotgun while running by at lightning speed.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. It's really hard to tell from this footage just because the quality is so low. But I mean, that is what it looks like.
Well, I found it interesting. Again, I just had this conversation with my former guy.
Anyone that knows how to shoot correctly knows that you have to shoot in front of the person that hit them. If they're running, you don't shoot at them, you shoot in front of them so they run into the bullet. You don't shoot directly at the person. If someone is zigzagging, you anticipate their movements before. Come on now. And I'm not a marksman, but I just know that. If a person is running, you shoot slightly ahead of them. You don't shoot at them, you shoot slightly ahead of them. Boom, they run into the bullet. And that's just training. Like so did all training just go out the window of why would they shoot at him and then end up hitting their own person because he's running so fast, he's flying. You shoot, he missed the bullet, doesn't even hit him and hits your own officer. But they can't admit that. They're not able to say that, hey, oops,
Previous guest, but I find it interesting that we hear all these shots fired, but number one, no injuries to the suspect, and number two, the only injury was the Secret Service agent. It's just, coming from the military where everything we do is very structured, very methodic, very on purpose, very deliberate. It's giving me this feeling of an almost comically untrained police force.
It is hard to hit a moving target at full sprint, especially at close range, just because the angle you're going to be moving, like you're moving your body so fast. So I'd give the benefit of the doubt to that officer. And then the other thing too is, it looks like in that video, he is carrying some type of rifle or shotgun and he's running full sprint in it. I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, combat's really intense. And, obviously I think this officer lacks situational awareness. He probably should have not shot. But you put anybody else in his shoes and probably 50% of them would shoot, 50% of them would not. So hard to say.
No, I definitely understand split-second decisions, and I understand, we're not in his shoes or their shoes. However, it doesn't lend well for optics here, especially when, like you said, the official report seems to be completely rebutted by what we're seeing here. Corey, I appreciate you joining us. I appreciate especially you bringing your expertise to it. I hope to have you back again on another episode of After Action Review. Stay safe out there. I feel like this post from Qasim Rashid really hit the nail on the head. So to recap, at the mere mention that a shooter was in the building, Erica Kirk left bawling that she wants to go home. Stephen Miller was photographed hiding behind his pregnant wife, human shield. The literal FBI director, Kash Patel, sat frozen in fear and didn't move a muscle. Trump fell down while running away, despite several agents holding them up. But they expect our children to survive hundreds of school shootings annually and go on like nothing happened.
The math ain't mathing. The math is definitely not mathing. So after all this, some more discussions have been being had. So let's go into the newest things about this. Let's go.
Guess what? They have the guy that remember last night I showed you the guy's running through and he falls down right before the stairs. In these particular videos, they have the guy holding a sign. So they have him holding a sign, running through as though he doesn't have any type of ammunition. They're spreading all of this information as though the guy does not shoot an officer. So imagine a person just getting off of work and the first thing they see in regards to this whole ordeal is that the government is making a big deal about a guy running and trying to get into the Saturday night White House correspondent dinner with a sign in his hand. What is the world coming to? I tell you, each and every day. And some of these individuals, they have such a strong following. They have thousands of people following them, and they're just spreading all of this misinformation. I showed you guys a photo last night and also yesterday at lunch of the guy who allegedly has done this whole ordeal, but they have him with the logo saying that he's a part of some sort of Israel security force. But again, I tell you that this is what's floating online. We have not confirmed it. And from what I understand, that's created by AI. So again, we have all of this information coming out. We've been so entrenched in regards to what happened Saturday night. We did not get a chance to cover the press conference yesterday. So I want to go through that. And also, we're going to get into a lot of different things that are happening throughout the country. There are some police officers that severely attacked a guy at a liquor store in Brooklyn. We're going to get into all of that and more. But now we're going to get started and looking at the press conference and see what we can glean in regards to this matter.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Guys, hit the like button, share, and subscribe. Thank you.
Later today, President Trump and the First Lady will welcome King Charles and Queen Camilla for a state visit here at the White House. First Lady Melania Trump has led all of the preparation for the state visit, which will honor the long-standing and special relationship between the United States and the United Kingdom. As I told many of you on Friday afternoon, I thought that would be my last time taking your questions until after my maternity leave. But given the attempted assassination of the president and, quote, top Trump administration.
Now, remember, I was telling you guys she would be out on a maternity leave. And guess who's going to be filling in for her? Well, they're going to have a collage of individuals. We're going to have Pete Hegseth, J.D. Vance, Marco Rubio. We'll also have the President of the United States himself, Donald J. Trump, will be filling in for her. So the president is pretty much everywhere and every place, right?
Officials, as the depraved shooter noted in his manifesto at the White House Correspondents Association dinner on Saturday evening. I felt it was prudent to be here today to answer your questions and inform the American people about how the administration is responding to yet another attempt on President Trump's life.
Now, she mentions this is another attempt on the president's life. You know, this is even worse than the Butler event. A lot of people felt it was staged or a hoax. And by the way, please participate in the poll. But when it comes to this event, man, everybody says it's a hoax, it's staged. And so many people are just pointing out how it looks so fishy, folks. In fact, speaking of fish, I'm actually going fishing after this show. But they also had this guy laying down on his belly like a fish with some aluminum foil wrapped around him. What is going on in our country?
Saturday was supposed to be a joyful evening, celebrating free speech and the First Amendment with all of you, members of the press. Instead, the night was hijacked by a crazed anti-Trump individual who traveled across the country to assassinate the president and as many administration officials as possible. This is the third major assassination attempt against President Trump in 2 years. No other president in history has faced such repeated, serious attempts on his life.
Put in the chat.
Oh my God. Like, really? Honey, that was the most pathetic attempt at an assassination. To run through the front of the event and do what? Like, he's not a sniper. He is not like a military trained. This guy just got a shotgun and he's fast. But somehow he is equipped to just take down the entire administration with this shotgun. Are you kidding me? I'm sorry. This sounds crazy.
At the 3 different times that the president of the United States had an attempt on his life. Let's see if you know all 3.
First and foremost, the president, the first lady, and everyone in this White House are extraordinarily grateful to the brave law enforcement professionals who sprang into action to apprehend the would-be assassin and keep all of us safe. The president would especially like to express his gratitude to the men and women of the United States Secret Service who acted with the utmost professionalism, courage, and sense of duty. This includes the heroic agent who took a bullet to the chest. Thankfully, he was saved by his bulletproof vest. Minutes after returning here to the White House to the Oval Office, despite fighting Secret Service to try to stay and keep the dinner going.
Okay, guys, Pretty Teens wins the prize today. The prize today is $25. That'll come to your Cash App. Thank you for winning the prize. She says it's Butler, Mar-a-Lago, and the recent conference. Thank you very much, Pretty.
On Saturday, ahead of addressing you here in the briefing room, President Trump was intent on speaking to this brave agent to ensure he was okay. And the agent assured the president that he was. As you know, I was seated next to President Trump and the First Lady when the shots were fired before Secret Service swiftly moved us to safety backstage. The president's calm in the face of chaos, while yet another individual was trying to take his life, was really remarkable to witness, and it's something I will never forget.
Is that right? Let's see how this whole thing. Let's see. All right, because they have it right here. Let's look at this. How this actually looked. Okay, let's see. All right, so you have President Trump and First Lady Melania sitting in the front. Let's see how it all went down. Let's go.
If you're the husband of if you're the husband of a woman that has issues with her mother, make sure to get your like mother, like daughter card game before I sell out. Get your mother-daughter card game right now. The link is under this video.
Get the card game from Mr. Lecter. But I want to show like this video.
Like this is crazy.
They got Melania, and the other they got Melania. Immediately, everything went down at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. You have to see this. Take a look at this viral video, and it's making people ask, what are they doing? And why did they do that?
This isn't even protocol.
Okay, so you can see right here, Secret Service immediately takes JD away. And now they're kind of mulling about the stage. One finally comes in here and gets in front of, see, there's Trump. And now they're pulling Trump off the stage, as well as they got Melania and the other people off the stage. Now, I have this muted for obvious reasons. Don't know if I can play the audio, but isn't that interesting? They got JD out there quicker. Y'all saw what I saw. They got JD off the stage first before anybody else. Several seconds, almost a minute before they yanked him off. And then they acted like they didn't know what to do with Trump and Melania. They get in front of, behind of. Wouldn't you think that they would protect Trump first and not JD? Or am I misunderstanding? What do you guys think?
I don't normally post videos like this, but things like this don't normally happen. I long lived and worked in Washington, D.C. This is my first White House Correspondents' Dinner. There is a lot of important discourse, conversations, debate about whether or not, protests about whether or not White House Correspondents' Dinners should take place at all, and they're important. This is just about what I saw tonight. When we entered the hotel, protesters were exercising their First Amendment right to protest. And when we entered, there was the first round of security. Walking in, security did seem perhaps not to match, from my POV, based on what I've seen and covered before, the scale of the event. But also notably, as we walked in, it became apparent that, oh, there are actually residents in the hotel who maybe didn't go through these screenings, who are here seeing us, but also in the space. As I walked in alongside some of my colleagues, like Christine Romans, there were some protesters who had breached the first security screening. And we were actively, it was raining at the time, so it was likely a reduced crowd from what was expected. But as we were walking through, several people had been apprehended because they were attempting to enter the hotel without the proper credentials. That was one layer of security. This is a multi-floor event. So when you walk in, you're on the first floor of the Washington Hilton. Individuals got photos. You could go then down to the second floor where there was another round of screening. That screening appeared to involve Secret Service. They did look into your bags. You did go through a metal detector. So that was 2 levels of screening, multiple floors, and you're in the ballroom. You see the ballroom, there are 2 levels. There's a stage. There was I'll call it an inner perimeter, the floor, and a slightly outer perimeter. Prior to the event starting, and even, throughout the event, so long as no one is speaking, there are opportunities to get up, to walk around. It's a fairly open space in that regard. Prior to this moment, most of us are seated at this point. I'm speaking with my colleague, Joe Fryer. All of a sudden, we hear yelling. At this point, now we know what was being shouted was get down, get down, get down. From the outer perimeter where I was seated, you couldn't quite make out what was being said, but it caught all of our attention because we heard yelling. Suddenly, I hear what sounds like, that's how I would describe that sound. It was like a pat, 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 pat. I've heard bullets. I know what those sound like. It didn't sound like bullets, but it did sound like something being hit. Now,
I still am confused on who shot what. And like, if they weren't shooting at the president, because it seems like they didn't make it to the room where the president was, who are they shooting at? And if they weren't shooting at the president, why are they saying this was a person that was after the president? But all this was fake, just for the record. But who was shooting? Like, they didn't shoot him because they apprehended him. Who was doing the shooting? Because it was like bow, 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 bow. Somebody said maybe it came through the speakers. They were recording it to make it seem like somebody was shooting.
Man, listen, he had a shotgun. He didn't have a machine gun, so bop, 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 bop does not exist on the shotgun. Bop, 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 machine gun. Bop, 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 AK-47. No, I don't know.
That's a good one. That's a good one. That makes a lot of sense. Maybe it was the speakers playing gunshots to scare the shit out of everybody. That is.
See, you're saying Secret Service was shooting him. That's why he was named. He was hit. Here's the thing: they show him alive. He lived. How do you get shot by Secret Service that boom, 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 and then live? Man, if the police hit you like that, you're not gonna live. Like, how is it that he survived and without no gunshot wounds, nothing? I mean, were they all just terrible shots? Like, is the Secret Service like worse than the police? Because I know the police would have got him. I'm sorry. If it was the DC police, they would have hit his ass. Why did the Secret Service not even scratch him? Why was, and then they put, like, they wrapped him in foil? I don't even know if that's a real thing.
A great idea. I like that. I like that. Thank you for saying that. I like that. That makes a lot of sense. Because
multi-floor event. So when you walk in, you're on the first floor of the Washington Hilton. Individuals got photos. You could go then down to the second floor where there was another round of screening. That screening appeared to involve Secret Service. They did look into your bags. You did go through a metal detector. So that was 2 levels of screening, multiple floors, and you're in the ballroom. You see the ballroom, there are 2 levels. There's a stage. There was I'll call it an inner perimeter, the floor, and a slightly outer perimeter. Prior to the event starting, and even, throughout the event.
Everybody hit the like button. Everybody hit the like button. Everybody hit the like button.
Joe Fryer. All of a sudden,
make sure to hit a like.
Hey, listen. You are more than welcome to come up and give like what you think it was. To me, first of all, if he's running with a shotgun, he can't hit nobody. Especially how fast he was running. Secret Service tries to hit him, they end up hitting their own person. I don't even see any indication that he turned around and shot anybody because he's too busy running. Fast as hell. Like, it was like Olympic level, like running. Like, he could have did like the 0 to the 50-yard dash in like less than 5 seconds. You know what I'm saying? He should have been. He chose the wrong thing. He should have been in the Olympics. The way that he darted across that thing, I said, God dang, I ain't never seen nothing like that in my life. How you can't do that and shoot at the same time. All right. Something don't seem right. Let's go.
Like, when some of y'all have not hit the like button yet, that's why I'm playing it. Y'all probably like, play the video, play the video. Well, if y'all were to hit the thumbs up button, I wouldn't have to play the video. I'm saying hit the like button for a reason. A lot of y'all have not hit the like button, and a lot of y'all have not.
Yes, hit the like button over here. I'm working my behind. I'm over here talking about this nonsense. I don't even. Let's go.
Flurry of Secret Service agents running, beelining for the stage and scattering throughout the center apparatus. It appeared from my POV that once the president was cleared, there was some chance of USA, USA, USA that were quickly hushed because a lot of people weren't sure whether or not it was safe to be making noise, right? Like whether or not this was an active shooter situation. They were moving incredibly swiftly and doing their work.
So people were shouting USA, USA during an active shooter situation. USA, US, honey, it's an active shooter. Shut the fuck, go and hide. What are you doing? You know, there's just a lot of this, okay.
Which is covering their protectees. Yeah, as I recount this, I'm in awe of their work and I'm in awe of the work of my colleagues because I cannot overstate. There was a lot of pause. There was a lot of unknown. So this is happening. We're clearly aware that something is wrong. We don't know what that wrong thing is, right? Now we know, depending on where you were in the space, some people did hear the sound of gunshots. I was sitting in the exterior part of the ballroom.
If y'all were in that ballroom and you heard gunshots, what would y'all have done? Would you have ran in the bathroom? Would you have ran out of the lobby? Would you have hid up under the table? Like,
at the end of it, they were still talking and communicating with each other. I'm not sure if you saw like the video I showed earlier. When the whole thing was over, they were all communicating, just talking like nothing had happened. I'm like, bro, what? They got to get up and just started like what? Like, no, get up out of here. Evacuate the premises. First of all, what are we doing? Who's to say that he's the only one? Like, I would not be there talking to nobody. I'd be out of that bitch. Let's go.
Y'all have done. Because I prepare my kids for situations like this. What is the first place you look for when you hear shooting? Because I think this is an important conversation to have. Because it's about having spatial awareness. What is the first thing you look for in a situation like that? Does anybody want to like guess? Does anybody want to guess?
Whatever the entrance is.
Come on, y'all in the chat. What is the first thing you look for when like you hear something? Yes, the exit sign. Exactly. You don't look for cover, you look for exit sign. Are there two exits or are they one? If there's one exit, what do you look for? You look for the corner of the room. Okay. So if there's one exit and it's over there, and that's where you hear the gunshots, the first thing you need to do is look for a dark corner of the room, because this way you're away from everybody else. And in most ballrooms, movie theaters, or areas, there's curtains, okay? Or there's something that's against the wall in certain rooms, right? So when you find either the exit and get the hell up out of there, or you find a corner and you get up against that corner and you find something dark to cover yourself with. Where can you find something dark to cover yourself with? Come on, and I need y'all to think. You're inside of a ballroom. Where do you find something dark to cover yourself with? Say you got a white gown on. Where do you find something dark to cover yourself with?
Under the table.
In the corner.
Oh, in the corner, I don't even know. Let's see.
I need y'all to think. Come on, y'all. I need y'all to think. Under the stage, yes, you can do. You get up on the stage. Tablecloth. There you go. There we go. There you go. I love it. I love it. There you go. There you go. So tablecloths, exactly. So the first thing you do, you're like, oh shit, somebody's shooting, and there's no other exits. You're like, oh shit, what do I do? You take the person you're with, and you say, come on with me. and then you get into a corner, you know, just a corner, right? And then you grab a tablecloth, you grab it off the table, and then you get up under the tablecloth, and then you get down in a corner. This puts you in a position where most likely you're not going to be hit or found or anything because you're under a black tablecloth, especially if you're in a ballroom like this where everybody got white on. And then boom, you're in a position where you could survive something like this. But you got to think quick. Corner or exit, tablecloth, and hide. All right?
Honey,
I teach my daughters stuff like this. And you got.
Honey, I'm running to the exit. I don't care what nobody. I'll probably be stuck with everybody else. Run, get out of that bitch. I'd be trying to like get out of there with everybody else.
Got to do it quickly.
And while Secret Service was concentrated in the interior, at one point, one guard in particular came running.
So I said, well, the tablecloths are white. Well, you find curtains. You find something black or dark in the room and grab that shit.
So it sounds to me like you should be situationally aware, period. When you go into a place, look around, see what's going on, etc. Let's go.
And get up under it immediately. Because you're right, a tablecloth can be white.
In our direction and said, get down, get down, get down. It was really, there was no room to even move our chairs. He had a gun. He came right past my chair. And for those unfamiliar, right, in Washington, there's the White House press corps. They cover the president day to day.
Somebody said tablecloths are not bulletproof. Really? Yo, somebody said tablecloths are not bulletproof. What does that have to do with anything? I'm just trying to help you hide. I didn't say it's bulletproof.
The United States, the people of America need to know where their leader is at all times. So
someone said hide under Erica Kirk. You're right, because you know they're not gonna shoot her. Find Erica Kirk and hide behind her, because you know they're not gonna shoot her, because most likely she has something to do with it. Oh my God, y'all.
The entire reporting team for Washington that would normally be covering this now in this room with limited service, right? So you're
Exactly. That's scary. Like no service out of nowhere.
People are attempting to join by phone. People are attempting to text and email and just Slack and get whatever they can out to get information cleared. But there was a lot of time that elapsed between those officials.
The whole thing going on, everybody texting on the phone. This is the millennial bullshit that I'm talking about. Come on. You have an active shooter. You guys are texting each other and trying to figure out what the fuck. What? You're texting?
Being removed from the space to us getting informed or getting a semblance of what had occurred to us ultimately getting to leave the space. That's a snapshot of what happened.
Damn. I just want to show this because this right here was absolutely hilarious. I'm sorry. Where is it? I think it's this right here. I'm just gonna play this and then just let it play.
Allen. That is the name of the shooter from.
I want to play because after what he says, we're gonna show you what the ballroom looked like and how stupid everybody in the ballroom was looking.
Allen. That is the name of the shooter from the White House Correspondents' Dinner. The president already did a briefing and said they don't have much information and soon they will release all they know about him. But the internet is already going crazy over who this man is, especially this one. 3 years ago almost, there was this Twitter account and all they posted was Cole Allen. To top it all off, the name, Henry Martinez. This was a researcher at NASA. And why is that interesting? Because apparently, beyond being a teacher, Cole Allen also interned at NASA. So a lot of people are going to bring up if this has to do with the war. They might bring up all the scientists dying, but yeah, this one's crazy.
These were the seconds before the shot. A president At Washington's event of the year is being shown a trick by the evening's entertainer.
So do y'all think this magician was part of the psyop? Because all this was fake. But for a magician to be in front of Trump right when they start shooting, if they started shooting at all, that is absolutely crazy. Somebody said another Tyler Robinson. Oh, yeah, Tyler Robinson did this also. Yeah, let's blame this on Tyler Robinson too.
Then there's gunfire.
That did not sound like gunshots. That sounded like somebody was. Listen again, because this is actually audio. I mean, this is actual audio. Listen again.
Entertainer. Then there's gunfire.
That sounds like banging against something.
On the top table, it goes unnoticed at first, until security agents storm the stage and evacuate the president. Inside the ballroom, guests attending the Washington Correspondents Association dinner take cover as armed officers take aim from the stage. There's confusion as they look.
So this is what I want to show you all. Look at these damn people. They're not doing nothing. They're just they're like deer in headlights. Nobody's moving. Everybody's moving slow. I know everybody in there is old, but damn, look how easy it is for, no awareness at all. Watch this.
Until security agents storm the stage and evacuate the president.
Okay, right now, everybody knows something's going on, right?
Inside the...
Now, look at all these people. Let me put this on the big screen. Look at all these damn people. They don't even know what's going on.
The ballroom, guests attending the Washington Correspondents.
Not one person gets up under their table. What is wrong with these damn people?
Association dinner take cover as armed officers take aim from the stage. There's confusion.
Nobody is going under their table. Nobody's doing anything. And now what I want y'all to see is, look at all of the curtains against the wall. I'm not going to say all you need to do is, the easiest thing to do is run to the corner of a room or go to an exit and get behind the curtain. Now peek behind the curtain or, in front of the curtain to see if it's safe to run up out of there. So now look at the curtains on the wall. Now you see curtains all over the place. Get behind a curtain and then peek from behind the curtain to see what you need to do next. Your job is not to go in the damn closet. It's to hide in plain sight so you can always be mobile.
Inside the ballroom, guests attending the Washington Correspondents Association dinner take cover as armed officers take aim from the...
Why can't they hide up under the table? It's like they're not even moving. It's like they don't know what to do.
Stage. There's confusion as they look for the...
They didn't take cover. They didn't take nothing. They didn't take comforter. They didn't take cover. They didn't take nothing. No blanket, no cover, nothing. They just was up there still trying to eat. I think there was one thing where everybody else was ducking under the thing. The one dude was just still eating his food, like bumping. You know what I'm saying? Just kill me. It's crazy to me. I'm like, what? This whole thing is just weird. So let's go.
Well, quite the eventful 15, 20 minutes, huh, guys? Because apparently people are taking shots with big weapons at the correspondence dinner. And now it sounds like the president has been confirmed he's fine. He posted something about he wants the show to go on. I'm seeing conflicting reports about whether or not the shooter's dead or in custody. But I've seen dead more than I've seen in custody. So we will definitely be looking into all of these posts. I'm literally seeing, like, I was watching a live stream up until a couple minutes ago because I was trying to confirm whether or not anybody was, aside from the shooter, because the shooter getting shot and killed, it's kind of like, well, yeah, that's what happens, dude. Who cares about the guy with the intention of going there and shooting a bunch of people getting shot and killed? I don't care. But anybody else, wanted to make sure everybody's cool. It sounds like that. But let's check out some of these videos, and then we'll, as stuff continues to come out, we'll update. So check this. So obviously right here, this is where that's the president being rushed out. Look at this room of helpless numbskulls, dude. Like, can you imagine if someone who actually knows what they're doing was able to get into that room and there was no security? Like, look at these people, dude. Look at these people. You're at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Shots fired, like bang, bang, bang. You have no idea what's going on. And they're like, oh, I know. I'm going to get down like this and cross my fingers that this room is going to be safe. I mean, I know they're like, of course, they're probably relying on the fact that there's a lot of security, but it's like, okay, well, that's ridiculous. I'm getting the fuck out of there in the opposite direction of where the shooting was coming from.
Katie, do you have all your stuff?
I'm fine.
Look at this, dude. I'm serious. Look at like, I'm not, honestly. This is like, what are you doing? What are you people doing? They're just sitting there. It's ridiculous. It's crazy. It's like, because I don't know if you guys have heard it yet. But there's a clip that I'll show you in a second of Trump up on the stage when it happens, and you can very audibly hear the gunshots. Like, I've been hearing reports that the guy at the stream I was watching, the dude was like, I heard a story about, it was a disgruntled employee, and he came into an event, and he was slamming the door really hard, and the people thought that it was slamming the door really hard. You must be in DC and you've never seen or fired a firearm, because that is not a fucking door slamming, you idiot. But they're literally just chilling. Like, look at this. They're all, wow, this is exciting. It's like, get out of there, person. What are you doing?
I'm sorry.
There's only one exit. That's very concerning in and of itself. But like, if there's another exit, if there's exits everywhere, like I'm sure that there are, the opposite exit from the sounds.
Sorry. I don't mean to laugh, but people are hilarious. The people that's covering this are funny as hell. Like, what are y'all doing? Man, I'm sorry, y'all. Let's go back to the after action review, because this shit is hilarious.
The math ain't mathing. That's an absolutely bombshell discovery that Corey just made, which is the officer pulling the gun while Cole Allen sprinted by and then shooting that gun and hitting one of the officers that appeared to be fixing a metal detector behind them on the wall, because the official report is saying that the officer was hit with a shotgun blast, and they're saying that because Cole Allen was carrying a shotgun. So this discovery by Corey actually shows yet another lie by the Trump administration just to use this for some kind of propaganda. Speaking of propaganda, Cole Allen emailed his family a manifesto. I think it was like 10 minutes before the incident happened. He sent out the email so that by the time they read it, they wouldn't have a chance to alert anybody or stop him. And before we look at the manifesto, I want to show you this post that Marjorie Taylor Greene made last night. She says, "Why does every shooter have a manifesto? Most shooters' manifestos remain classified so they don't inspire more would-be shooters. Why did they release Cole Allen's manifesto almost immediately?" I find this post to be fascinating for a couple reasons. Number one, we know that Marjorie Taylor Greene has left MAGA. She was one of the most ardent Trump/MAGA supporters. Early on, she pushed Trump all 3 times, and now she's completely left ship, and Donald Trump has even turned on her. I don't know if it's true that the shooters' manifestos are usually kept classified. Her justification, her reasoning makes sense. So I would believe that. And she's also pointing out that all of the recent shootings we've had across the country, Charlie Kirk, and now this one, Butler, Pennsylvania, there's these manifestos that appear online. And what she is suggesting is they're not real. They're made up by the government. What she is suggesting is the same thing that a lot of people are suggesting, and that is a psyop. Now, you heard Greg earlier say it could be, maybe it's not. You heard Corey say it could be, maybe it's not. We're discussing right now, could be, maybe it's not. Marjorie Taylor Greene is saying maybe it is. But let's take a look at the manifesto real quick. I'm not going to read the entire manifesto. I believe it's 1,052 words. I just want to highlight some things. First of all, he starts off saying, "Hey, I may have given a lot of people a surprise today." And that lines up with what his family's saying, which is this is out of his character. He says, "I apologize to my parents for saying I had an interview without specifying it was for Most Wanted." I don't know what that means. I think it sounds like he told his family that he was going to be interviewed at the White House Correspondents' Dinner so they wouldn't be suspicious of him. But actually, he's becoming the most wanted man. I think that's what he's saying. But he goes on to apologize to people. But then let's get into the nitty gritty of this. He says, "I am a citizen of the United States of America. What my representatives do reflects on me. I am no longer going to permit a pedophile, rapist, and traitor to coat my hands with his crimes." Now, listen, a news interviewer, I believe it was NBC, read that exact quote to Donald Trump. I want you to watch this exchange.
So-called manifesto is a stunning thing to read, Mr. President. He appears to reference a motive in it. He writes this quote, "Administration officials, they are targets." And he also wrote this, "I'm no longer willing to permit a pedophile, rapist, and traitor to coat my hands with his crimes." What's your reaction to that?
Well, I was waiting for you to read that because I knew you would, because you're horrible people, horrible people. Yeah, he did write that. I'm not a rapist. I didn't rape anybody.
Do you think he was referring to you?
Excuse me.
Damn! I mean, that was just well played. She goes, "Oh, you think he's talking about you?" So that, you know, even Cole Allen in his manifesto did not specifically say Donald Trump, but even Donald Trump knew that he was talking about Donald Trump. What I also found fascinating about this is he goes into detail about who he is targeting. Let's read who he's targeting. He says, "While I'm discussing this, I'll also go over my expected rules of engagement." Now, he's not prior military. That is a word that we use in combat rules of engagement. He says probably in terrible format, but I'm not military, as too bad. Administration officials, not including Mr. Patel. I found that what he specifically says, I'm not going to target Kash Patel. Now, this feeds into more conspiracy theories because everybody's saying that Kash Patel is up next on the chopping block to be fired by Trump. And now this shooter's saying, I'm not going to target Mr. Patel. There's some conspiracies out there that this guy somehow knew Kash Patel. Nothing to substantiate that. There's no evidence to support that. Just online conspiracy theories that are saying it based on him saying he's not going to target Kash Patel. Anyway, administration officials, not including Mr. Patel, that they are targets prioritized from highest to ranking to lowest. Secret Service, they are targets only if necessary. and to be incapacitated non-lethally if possible. So he doesn't want to shoot law enforcement. Hotel security, not targets if at all possible, unless they shoot at me. Capitol Police, same as hotel security. National Guard, same as hotel security. And we did see Capitol Police and National Guard enter the scene Saturday night. And hotel employees, not targets at all. Guests, not targets at all. So he never intended to target anybody but administration officials, according to that. Also very interesting in his manifesto is he goes through a list of what he expects to be potential rebuttals or potential objections to his actions. And then he gives preemptive rebuttals to those objectives. Objection number 1, as a Christian, you should turn the other cheek. You can read his rebuttal there. Objection number 2, this is not a convenient time for you to do this. And objection number 3, you didn't get them all. Objection 4, as a half black, half white person, you shouldn't be the one doing this. Very interesting objection. He says in a rebuttal, I don't see anybody else picking up the slack. Objection 5, yield unto Caesar what is Caesar's. And then he gives a very short rebuttal there. And then he goes into this whole thank you list. Thank you to this person, that person. You can read it there. And then I want to show you his postscript. He says, postscript. Okay, now that all the sappy stuff is done, what the hell is the Secret Service doing? Sorry, going to rant a bit here and drop the formal tone. I expected security cameras at every bin, bugged hotel rooms, armed agents every 10 feet, metal detectors out the wazoo. And what I got, who knows, maybe they're pranking me, is nothing. I find that very interesting. No damn security, not in transport, not in the hotel, not in the event. He went there knowing what his intentions were, and he expected a lot of security, and he was going to have to sneak around and figure out how to make it work, and maybe even he wouldn't be successful or he would get busted. And he got there to find out there's no security. He even said, what the hell are they doing? The one thing that I immediately noticed walking into the hotel is the sense of arrogance. I walk in with multiple weapons, and not a single person there considers the possibility that I could be a threat. The security at the event is all outside, focused on protesters and current arrivals, because apparently no one thought about what happens if someone checks in the day before. This level of incompetence is insane, and I very sincerely hope it's corrected by the time this country gets actually competent leadership again. That is a fascinating observation by the guy who allegedly committed this crime prior to actually committing it. That was his observation. He says, if I was an Iranian agent instead of an American citizen, I could have brought a damn Madus. A Madus is a slang term in the military for an M2, which is a 50 caliber rifle. An M2 is called a Madus, 50 caliber machine gun. I could bring a damn Madus in here and no one would have noticed shit. Actually insane. Oh, and if anyone is curious how doing something like this feels, it's awful. I want to throw up. I want to cry for all the things I wanted to do and never will. For all the people whose trust this betrays. I experience rage thinking about everything this administration has done. Can't really recommend it. Stay in school, kids. Just fascinating insight into the brain of the guy who did this. You can hear him openly lamenting that his life is officially over because he'll likely go to prison for life following this. He expected to actually hit people. It sounded very clearly like he expected to shoot some people. We know he did not. They are claiming he shot a Secret Service agent based on my previous guest Corey's findings and observations of CCTV. I no longer believe that's true. And now I want to talk to somebody, another veteran, about this manifesto, just about his thoughts on it and about the actions taken by Cole Allen. Riggs served 22 years in the Army, 5 operational deployments. Rig, I know you well. I've been to protests with you. I've heard your take on things. Your take has been, we got to stand up and do something. And after reading this manifesto, it sounds like Cole Allen, the alleged shooter here, was saying that he was going to do something since nobody else was going to. I went through his list of rebuttals. He has what things he expects people to say in response to this. Would love to hear your take, not only on his manifesto and his expected rebuttals, but just this action as a whole. Go ahead.
First and foremost, I want to speak as a Black man, as a pro-Black man in America. I believe that Cole Allen's actions are just simply misguided. There is no way in the world a Black man should be trying to assassinate a head of state. Let's say that by some miracle, he would have overcome all the obstacles that a single assassin would have to face trying to take out someone who's this well protected. Let's say if he was successful. First and foremost, where MAGA's already beginning to shatter, he would give them a cause to rally now. You will make Trump a martyr, a man with 1 foot already in the grave, right? If he would have died of natural causes, that would have caused a lot more rift inside of MAGA. But by someone taking him out, especially a black man, I believe that would blow back on us severely. I think it would put Barack and Michelle's lives in danger. I would believe it would put many of our lives in danger because there's many people on the right wing who would absolutely retaliate now that he's been assassinated. And you would, like I said, you would make him a martyr, and you would give someone to rally around for it. But tactically, if I'm speaking from as a soldier, it is a pretty sloppy operation to think that you would attack someone. You have to think strategically. Even if this is down the road you want to go down, I don't believe so. I think that, believe me, you guys know that I believe in being heavily armed. I believe in having weapons, but I think that this is something we have to do defensively. You're not going to win an offensive war because you don't have the numbers. Society has not fallen apart. And you're just not going to be able to do it.
I find it interesting that you point out it would be less advantageous to us in this fight against fascism for him to have been successful. I find it interesting that you point out because you make a good point. If Trump were to pass away from natural causes, and let's be honest, he's got 1 foot in the grave and one hand on a Big Mac. He's about to turn 80 in June. He's got horrible and failing health. We've seen his cankles. Every time you see him in public, he's always hiding his hand because he has the bruises from probably a continual intravenous injection into his hand. He rambles, and a lot of doctors say that that's a sign of mental decline. He's up at the 2-3 o'clock in the morning on the White House shitter, on Temu Twitter, banging away his, long essays. So you have a valid point. The guy is halfway out the door on his own. Don't give MAGA a martyr. That's a solid point you make. But let's dive a little deeper. When you say that doing it as a black man would be even worse, elaborate on that for me.
Let's say if someone tried to hit Obama. I know that would be my red line. I think many veterans, black veterans, will be a red line. By attacking, and we know Trump, I have no love for Trump, but to have him be assassinated by a black man will really galvanize the right wing in a dangerous way, I believe, because now they have something. They already was racist anyway, right? You already seen that last cop who was trying to head down to Louisiana to go assassinate as many black people as possible. That would add far more fuel to the fire. The problem with actions like this, they're not thinking strategically, right? This is a war. It is not a battle. It is not something we endured slavery for hundreds of years to get to the point where we got to the Civil War. Doing these type of actions, first of all, it's a team thing. It's not something you can do by yourself. It is impossible for one person. The odds are so high that one person will even be successful because there's so many layers of security. He doesn't have any type of military training. All that showed how he ran over here. And like I said, even you read his benefits.
Well, yeah, but you mentioned earlier it was a sloppy operation.
Yes.
A previous guest I just had on, former Army sniper Corey Hargraves, he was talking about, we went frame by frame, the CCTV footage, and he pointed out how the guy came in, to quote Corey, came in running Looney Tune style, just jetting across the screen. And so, yeah, it's definitely, this is not a tactical sound plan.
Yes, it shows that this is not Call of Duty, guys. Listen, eliminating people, that's a skill set. That is a skill set. You're not going to get this off of Call of Duty. If you even look at the last time someone was successful, it was a Marine that was successful in taking out a head of a state, taking out JFK, right? With people with military training. This is not something you're going to get through osmosis. You have to dedicate your life to this type of stuff. And so, but once again, strategically, it's just a bad move for any black man to be involved in this. Black people, we should be on defense. We should be protecting our neighborhoods. We should be, forming self-defense teams, doing those type of things to prepare for what's coming. But by no means should a black assassin have their face on this. I just think I think it's a terrible look, and it really puts a lot of our lives.
I think you've made a couple valid points there. Also, what is your thoughts? Earlier in the show here, we were talking about a lot of people online think that this was a psyop, a false flag, a staged event. And when we look back, like I said earlier, when we look back at things like Butler, Pennsylvania, which has always appeared staged to me, it almost shows a pattern. You're down in the polls, stage an assassination. You need to get something done, stage an assassination. Some people say it might not have been specifically to get the ballroom built, but it was convenient to toss that in there. Curious your thoughts on that.
Yeah, because once again, how did this man get a disassembled weapon inside the hotel? Where are the state level security protocols? You're talking about the president of the United States of America inside of a hotel. You don't have the spectrometers up. You're not scanning luggage. You're not doing all these basic things. And so it just seems like there's like gaping security lapses where people are thinking like, okay, obviously it's like a setup, right? The whole Butler thing, I even did other videos on that. Look at the actions of the Secret Service. They're out here posing for selfies. And so to get them off the X, if you look back at Ronald Reagan, no one's out here for selfies. Reagan was out of there so quickly that people didn't even know really what had happened. By the time the dude got his 6 shots off, they already had him in the beast and was hauling ass to a hospital and wrapping up everybody else who was out there. So it's just really it's amateur hour, right? And then it's more propaganda for the right wing. They're going to be out here like, hey, the left can't shoot, the left can't do this. It's more propaganda because this is a skill set like anything else. You're not going to go out here and take out heads of state just because you want to.
I'm glad you brought up the piece about, this is an opportunity to attack progressives. This is what we've been talking about. An opportunity. Before, they used to call all the shooters left-leaning or progressives. This time they got it. It is a left-leaning progressive. Listen, Rig, I appreciate your input. Really, really like your take there on, making him a martyr versus letting nature take its course. Yes. Also, very interesting take when you bring up that he's a black shooter, because he did mention that in his manifesto.
And that brings me to our conclusion. What can we take away from this after action review? Number one, Donald Trump went to a White House Correspondents' Dinner for the first time ever in his presidency, into a hotel that was the exact same location that Ronald Reagan was previously almost assassinated at, nicknamed the Hinckley Hotel. Security was so light that the alleged suspect here mentioned in his manifesto how there was absolutely no security. A guy with no tactical training and clearly a very poorly put together tactical plan was able to bring in all these weapons, get them through the hotel and to the front door of the ballroom. The suspect himself was never shot, although multiple shots were fired. The official report that this was a shotgun blast that hit the Secret Service agent can easily be refuted by the CCTV, where we see the officer pull their weapon and shoot and miss Cole Allen, hitting the officers behind them on the wall, as our friend Corey pointed out. As our friend Greg pointed out, this seems more sloppy than anything else, but conspiracy theorists have some legs to stand on here when you start putting all this together. Marjorie Taylor Greene is even implying that it is a conspiracy. Anybody with tactical experience, tactical knowledge looks at this and thinks, oh my God, that's not a good plan. But then again, someone without tactical training would put together such a plan in most scenarios. So the takeaway here is, I don't know if it was fake, but there's a lot of things to suggest it was. And if it wasn't fake, at a minimum, this looks very poorly on Secret Service and on all the interagencies that were assigned to security of this hotel. Number three, it has now strengthened the position of MAGA. Anytime there has been an assassination attempt, it always improves Trump's pollings. And right now, he is polling lower than any president in American history. Not to mention, he's now using this as a reason to continue building his ballroom. Deputy Attorney General Blanche has filed a filing with the court asking them to lift their restrictions on building the ballroom because this incident, in their words, proves we need better security, although there's nothing to suggest this ballroom would solve any of the problems aforementioned. I think the biggest conclusion we can have here, this is more fuckery from the administration of fuckery. The most incompetent, unqualified group of individuals ever to run this country continue to yield results that put the American public and America as a country further in danger. This needs to be stopped now. Donald Trump needs to be impeached. Continued incompetent, unqualified leadership puts us as a country and our national security at risk. Veterans have spoken. This has been your After Action Review.
Just when I thought I couldn't find my way out, yeah, I searched the God in me to find my way out. I know it can seem way out, but the Creator flows to and through me from way out. I'm talking way out, yeah. See if you believe in the God in you, it's a better place.